Okay, well, hello, and welcome to fall 2021, I guess. This is Psych 2. I hope you're in the right class. 9707, let's see, sorry. That's 70997, 71003, or 70917. Any of those sections, it's all the same. All right, so my name is Billy Open, and I'm the professor in this class. I am a LCSW, a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm a part-time professor. I worked for 20 plus years in the public mental health system for San Joaquin County, and I'm trying to get that thing out of my glasses, the reflection. I've been teaching this class for 6 years now, I guess, and I've previously taught at the Master of Social Work program at Cal State Stanislaus. I know that there's many reasons for people to be in the class, right? Some of you are actually going to go on into social sciences, and this is just your first class. Some of you, this may be your last statistics class. Some are just hoping this is easier than Math 12 or whatever the case may be, right? It doesn't matter. I can get you through this class if you're willing to do the work. I can help you to pass this class no matter what you think about your math skills or your math anxiety or whatever you want to say, right? If you're willing to do the work and you're willing to ask for help when you need it, I can actually get you through this class. I will tell you, I typically lose 50% of the students because they, I don't know, they don't want to ask for help or they don't want to do it. But I can tell you, I can walk you through this class. So please just hang in there and ask for help when you need it. I am available. I don't hold office hours anymore because people didn't show up, but I will do office hours by appointment. Email me, we can meet in person, we can meet on Zoom. I will not answer long drawn out questions by text or email because it just doesn't work, right? If you don't understand something, I can't walk you through it in an email. But I can walk you through it in Zoom or in person. I have a little office space over in the campus. Okay. So basically, right, you're online. I'm assuming by now you've taken the class online before, or you haven't. You understand Canvas and how it works. And so I'm going to walk you through the class right now and the structure of the class, not the class. I'm walking you through the structure of how I lay out the class and how the class works, right? So give me a second here and I'm going to bring up the Canvas shell. All right, there we go. And this is what it looks like. Oh, that is not what it looks like. Hold on, sorry. I need to, oh, come on. I need to pull up the right class, huh? All right, let's pause. All right, we'll try this again. So obviously, if you thought I was perfect, you obviously know now that's not true. So here we go. Let's try this one. There we are. So Psych 2, it says, it's me, and I'm a big Yankees fan, so I'm looking forward to a couple of weeks from now going to some Yankees A's games at least. Anyway, here's how it's laid out, right? So all the work, I put everything into the modules, right? Obviously, you need to sign up, get notifications about announcements. I haven't sent any out yet, nothing's published, right? But I lay out the class in the modules. Here's just a link to the hello and welcome statement. This is a link to how to get tutoring, how to get financial aid help, how to get some help around campus at different things if you so need to, right? This first module is syllabus, tables, etc. And here's a student learning contract. This is a first week's assignment is to read this and sign it and put it back. So you should just be able to, you go down here, you click on the box. If you have to, you can print it and scan it. It's a Word document. I didn't open it up right, but you can sign it and put it back. So this is your agreement that you read the syllabus, that you understood, that you watched this, you know how the class works, and you're willing to agree to all the things in the syllabus, etc. Right? That's what that is. So that's your first week's assignment. This is the basic math review. This is, and I have this in module 1, 2. So this is what you need to know. This is what you need to review, and I do review it in the first lecture. But this is the math that you need to know to get through the class. You need to know the order of operations. You need to know the rules of math, right? So that's what you want to do. So you want to review that. If there's something here you don't understand, you need to get to me right away, and I'll explain it to you and I'll walk you through it. But this is what all the basic math you need to know. It's really simple: exponents, percentages, etc. And it, but if you don't, when we start putting this together, it gets a little bit more complicated, right? Because we put all these concepts into formulas. So the formulas get a little complicated, but basically it's just these simple math things. So I'll take care of it. And then this is the tables that you're going to need later on. And when the time comes, we'll go through them and I'll explain them. Right? So there's 5 units in the class, right? So here's one, right? So here's the introduction to unit 1. Here's the sections from that we'll be going over in the book. So this is how my lecture is based on this right here. So if you need to read it, this is where you can find it, right? These are my notes. I just printed up some notes if you for a shortcut, if you want to hang on to them. And again, here is the basic math review. So that's how each one goes, right? You get an introduction, you get the notes, and you get this book, the people that you need to follow through, right? Of course, then each section comes with work, right? So each unit. So each unit has a worksheet, right? You have to answer the questions on the worksheet, and I'm going to just do this. Basically, it's all multiple choice. You just answer the questions. Each worksheet is worth 50 points, and we're going to go over this part in the syllabus. So you worry about that, right? And then each unit has a project. So this is the thing. The projects are, you typically have to do research, right? This is a research class. So the project's in this. And in this one, I want you to survey 48 people, ask them all the same question, etc. And I talk about this, right? So, and you'll fill out this table and resubmit it. And you will do, you'll read the thing, you'll see, and I'll go over it a little bit more. But right, so if you're online, if you don't work in a place, if you don't have a huge family, SurveyMonkey is the thing to use. And if you haven't used that yet, or you're not familiar with that, get familiar with it, because there's 5 of these, right, that you have to do. I also suggest you keep it simple. So basically, you have to be able to quantify. You need to be able to put a number to your information, right? So you, simple. I think people like coffee. So I'm going to ask 48 people how much they like coffee on a scale of 1 to 10, right? 10 being I really like coffee, 1 being I don't like coffee at all. That's what we call a Likert scale. That way you record everybody's scores, and then your raw data, and then you compile your table. The reason I say keep it simple is because then you're going to be wanting to ask 2 questions. And so my thing would be like, the next time up, the next project or down the road, we're going to ask 2 people, 2 questions of the same person. So I think people that like coffee like chocolate, because that's what I like. So then I will ask, right, on the same scale, 1 to 10, how much do you like coffee and how much do you like chocolate? And I will see if it's true that people that like coffee like chocolate, right? So you can build on them. You don't need to start from scratch all the time, okay? So that's about the projects. And like I said, SurveyMonkey is the way to go. And then of course, each one's gonna have an exam, right? Same thing, all multiple choice, because of the way it works. You get work. So there's problems you need to do work on and put tables together for, and do computations for. I suggest you save those computations, because if you want to argue with me about your answers right and I'm wrong, and like I already said, I'm not perfect. I do get things wrong, no matter how many times I review it. Then if you think you're right or you have an argument, you need to be able to show me your work. You can't just tell me, right? You need to show me. So if you're a little bit off in your answer, but you can show me you did the work correctly, I'll give you partial credit probably. I'll give you part credit. I'm not, but you need to have that work. So hang on to it, okay? So that's how each unit is. Then there's 5 different units, right? And then we'll go over the syllabus and talk about what all that means and how that gets you your grade, obviously, right? So let's see, I want to go back home. Obviously, if you're here, you've already mastered the introduction and lecture button, right? That takes you to my YouTube channel. This one is not here anymore because I recorded a new introduction, obviously. So that's pretty much the shell. That's how the class kind of goes together. And now I'm going to go over the syllabus, because that's like the rules of the class, right? You need to know the rules of the class. So, oh, let me see. I got part of this. Hang on. All right, sorry about that. I haven't put the syllabus into Canvas yet because somebody's reviewing it to make sure it has all the appropriate statements from the school in it, right? Because I don't know all that. So anyway, here it is. All right. So like I said, I'm Billy Olpen. Here's how you contact me through email. Use, please, the Canvas email, because that way I get a notification that a student emailed me. If you just send it to my address, not through the regular Delta email, I could get lost in the 100 emails I get from Delta every day. They're pretty email savvy over there, to put it politely. Right? And it says right here, use Canvas so I can get a notification. Office hours are by appointment. Here's the thing. Here's the prerequisites. You know all that. Here's the book. The book, as I said, is optional. Everything you need from the book, I've already posted in Canvas. I know that's probably not the appropriate thing to do, but that's what I did. You will need a calculator. Just go to the dollar store. All it needs to have is, add, subtract, multiply, divide, and a square root button. You do not need anything else. It would probably just get you in trouble if you're not really math savvy. So dollar store, 98-cent store, whatever it is, right? I mean, I'll show you. This is it, right? Here's mine. This is like this. Like I said, I think this was a freebie I got at some conference or something. But that's all you need, okay? Don't go spending a lot of money. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to learn about the measures of central tendency. You're going to be able to evaluate and analyze the probabilities of events, right? We're doing research. This is about research. We're going to talk about binomials, chi-squared, distribution, frequency distributions, T's tests, on and on. I mean, all these things you're probably not familiar with, but you will be by the end of the class, right? And you're going to demonstrate that you can do the things that I've taught you, right? At a 70% or higher, right? To get the 70% or higher to get a grade that passes you, moves you on to the next level, right? So you're going to do all that, right? So here's how it goes, right? So this is how the class is, right? There's 5 units, 5 worksheets where that equals 250 points. There's 5 projects worth another 250 points, right? Now we're up to 500. There's 5 exams worth 100 points apiece. 500, now we're up to 1,000 points. And then there is a research paper worth 100 points. If you have never written a research paper before, I will tell you, you need to start early. Don't come to me the day before or the week before and ask me how to write a research paper. I teach math. I don't teach how to write, unfortunately. So there are 5 library classes, and I'll put this into an announcement. There's 4 or 5 library classes that show you how to do research, how to put together a paper, etc. And then I will post an example of a paper on the thing, because it is what we call APA style, and most of you have never written in that before, and you're used to writing in MLA style, which is what your English class asks for, but social sciences write in APA style. So I will post an example of that. I will give 10 points extra credit for every certificate you send me for attending those library classes. So on top of the fact that it will help you get through the research paper, it will also get you some extra points, right? Which is always seems like somebody's asking me for extra credit. So here it is. Like I said, and I'll put this out in an announcement. It's a very short paper, 5 to 7 pages, and that's including your title page and your bibliography, which if you don't know about, you will learn about in the library classes, okay? So that's the 1,100 points that makes up the class. All right, this is how the class is broken up according to the book. Okay, so fix that. Sorry, I'm taking notes because I found things that I need to clean up before I send this out. Okay. And then, so here's how the grade, right? 10%, 90 above is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, etc. Okay. I've sent this, you can track your own grade. Like, don't keep asking me what your grade is, because you could either do it this way or you can track it on Canvas, but don't expect me to be tracking your grade for you all the time, okay? Here is the schedule, basically, right? So week 1, you need to listen to the first lecture, this lecture plus your first lecture, review the syllabus again, do the basic math, and then we'll move on to the next week where you do unit 1 and your student learning contract is due, right? And so on. This actually, so then you'll listen to, you have 2 weeks then, right, to do your worksheet and get working on your project. Then comes exam 1, okay? Exam 1, your worksheet is due the same day as the exam, right? Again, all multiple choice, you'll do it online. You have a week to do it. However, once you start, you only have 3 hour class time to do it, 3 hours. You can't go back and start over again, okay? When you do the exam again, your worksheet is due. The following week, we'll start with the new unit. The lecture is due. And when we start the new unit, your project is due. So this is the way it works, right? At the end of a unit, you do the exam, your worksheet is due. The following week, we start a new unit and your projects are due. That's how the schedule works throughout the whole semester, okay? And here's some things about just in red, because the research papers always gives people's problems, and most of you cannot afford to lose 100 points, okay? So that's basically the schedule. You can read through it. As always, if there's questions, just email me. Here's the important days, right? 9/2 is the last day to drop with a refund. 9/12 is the last day to drop without a W. And 10/19 is the last day to drop with a W. After that, of course, you fail the class. I don't know why this is in here anymore, but you know, if you don't do the lessons, I take attendance by the fact that you've turned in your work. If you don't turn in your work, I'm going to mark you as you missed your class. You missed 2 or 3 assignments, I drop you. Really simple. Or I don't. You need to drop yourself. Like, I'm not responsible for dropping you from the class. Okay. Here we are. So, exams and assignments must be taken and turned in on the dates and times as schedules. Exams may not be taken late with the exception of documented emergencies. And this is really an in-person thing. Online, there are no emergencies. You have a week to take the exam. If you wait until, they're doing Friday at 11:59. So if you wait until Friday night at 10 o'clock to do your exam and your internet goes out, that's not an emergency. That's the consequence of your behavior waiting till the last minute, right? That's not an emergency. An emergency is you've been hospitalized with a fractured leg and surgery for the last 2 weeks or a week, right? Or 5 days. Not Friday afternoon, something happened and I couldn't do the exam, okay? So there's a difference between real true emergencies and just the consequences of procrastination. All right, that's it. And then here's some of the things that they're still looking at to clean up. The syllabus, as I say, is a living document and subject to change. When I do make changes, I will make announcements. And you are responsible to know about the announcements. Don't tell me, oh, I didn't get it, right? I'm letting you know right now, you need to connect to the class so that you're notified about announcements. It's your responsibility. You signed up for the class. So if you don't, that's on you, right? You're grown people. I'm going to treat you as adults, and I expect you to act like adults and be responsible. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the introduction. I am, let me see, I think I got through all my work. One thing I want to emphasize again, it's written there in red in the syllabus, I don't take late work. You get plenty of time and plenty of notice. Most of your work, you get weeks, more than 2 weeks to get it done. Like I said, if you don't get that done, that's on you. I talked about the extra credit. I'll do the announcement. I talked about your work with the exams. So that's it. Again, I want to tell you that I can get you through this class no matter what you think about your math skills. Okay, give yourself a chance. Don't waste your time. Don't go through halfway and then drop out. But like I said, ask for help as soon as you need it. I'm here to get you through the class. All right. So good luck. I probably won't see you in the future, but as always, I am available. Thank you.